My mother was 13 when Jersey was occupied. She and her younger brother John were a mischievous pair. One of the few stories she told of those days was of John having stolen a German Luger pistol, and while secretly showing his sisters, he accidentally pulled the trigger. Fortunately, there were no injuries, but the bullet remained embedded in the wood under the stairs and was never recovered.
My grandfather, John David Evans, was a boilerman during the occupation. He lived with my grandmother Grace and their 5 children, the oldest of which was my father, who was 9 at the start of the occupation.
My great-grandfather, Bertrand Lampard Clift, was reported by the German authorities on the 26th of November 1943 to have left the island. There were no further details about this trip recorded, but we suspect that his role as the petrol controller took him to France to secure supplies for the island.
My grandmother, Gwendolyn May Prentice, lived in Jersey during the occupation, and she was 9 years old when the island was occupied. She attended the London School in St Wands, and she lived over here with my great-grandfather, Bertram Leonard Prentice, and my great-grandmother, Ellen Mort Prentice.
My great-grandfather, Douglas Walter Tanguy, was a musician during the occupation. In February 1943, he learnt that the occupying authority would deport him to Kreuzberg camp in Germany, where alongside 2 British musicians, he formed the Kreuzberg Trio.
Jean Marcel Mirabel, my great-uncle, was sentenced on the 9th of January 1945 by the German troop court to 6 months imprisonment for failure to surrender a wireless set and for disseminating anti-German news. We are unsure of the circumstances surrounding his death, which occurred only a year after the end of the war.
My dad, Frank Norman Foster, was 14 when Jersey was occupied. Along with his mother, father and sister, he was deported to a civilian camp in Germany on 16th September 1942.
My grandfather, Gerald Palmer, was just 5 during the occupation. He grew up to become a prominent local artist. Though rarely spoken of, his occupation experiences were later captured in his painting of a bombing raid by the Royal Air Force on German supply boats in St Helier Harbour.
My granddad was Ronald Wilfred Allen, and he was a still fixer from Plymouth. He used to be well known for his vocal performances at various different venues around the island. On the 22nd of February 1945, he was caught with 120 pounds of wheat and 60 pounds of potatoes, which obviously were over the rations allowed at the time. Needless to say, he was reported and all the food was confiscated.
William Henry Burt, my grandfather-in-law, was a police constable during the Second World War. On October 1943, HMS Jambus and HMS Limburn were sunk by German torpedoes with a loss of 500 people. Their bodies were washed ashore in Jersey, Guernsey and France, and one of the jobs that he had to undertake was to retrieve those bodies.